At Din Dang High School in Thailand, a young high school cartoonist called Pong studies. Throughout his school life, he has come to classify the students into 6 distinct groups: the ordinary ones, the bullies, the nerds, the jocks, the chicks, and the team captains. However, there are 2 extra classes among the students: the young man called Fame, who is idolized by the young men and desired by the girls, and the invisibles, the lowest level of all and made up of those who nobody gives a damn about, including Pong. It's no coincidence that the youngster is often bothered by bullies, who take his lunch and make him do the most insane things possible. Pong's life at school isn't easy, but there's one person who makes it all worthwhile: Ming, the cheerleader who is part of the captain's group. When he's at home, Pong often draws pictures of the girl and imagines stories in which they fall in love with each other. However, one night, the young man draws late in his notebook and misses his school timetable the next morning. Even so, he manages to arrive on time and hands in his notebook with his homework. Shortly afterwards, Pong goes outside to say his daily prayer, but when one of the bullies shows up asking him to copy his homework, the young man realizes he's left the wrong notebook. Pong is desperate because he has given the teacher the notebook with Ming's drawings. After the prayer, he rushes to get the notebook back, but it's too late and it's none other than Ming, who reads it in front of his classmates. As soon as Pong arrives in the classroom, the girl is furious and throws the notebook at his head. The young man then runs desperately and tries to hide until it's all over, but in a matter of seconds, the whole school has seen his drawings. Not knowing what to do, all he can do is find out who gave the drawings to Ming. One of his friends tells him that a new girl called May was the one who gave the notebooks to the students, and Pong goes looking for her to make amends. He finds her coming out of the bathroom and asks why she gave the drawings to Ming. May replies that she only did it because she saw her name in the notebook, but Pong doesn't accept this justification and pulls her by the arm to make her tell the truth. However, in doing so, May ends up firing an electric blast that knocks the young man away. Frightened by what she has just done, May runs away, but drops a photo of Fame, which was in her notebook. At the end of the day, Pong is in his room, thinking about the shock he received from May. Ironically, this ends up inspiring the young man, who creates a new story in manga format, called The Electroshock Girl. The next morning, he makes copies of his drawings and spreads them around the school to attract the girl's attention. The plan works and May finds him in front of the printer and demands that he stop spreading her story to the students. Pong refuses and tries to press her to reveal how she shocked him, but as soon as he touches her arm, the young man gets another electric shock and is thrown backwards. He then realizes that May is capable of producing electrical discharges, but this seems to bother the girl, who leaves crying. Hours later, May returns home and tells her parents that a student at school has discovered her secret. It is soon revealed that, since childhood, May has had the ability to produce energy when she feels emotions that make her heart beat faster. Since then, the girl has worn a watch that measures her heartbeat and, if it exceeds 120 BPM, she will electrocute anything she touches. Because of this, May and her parents were forced to move house whenever anyone discovered their secret. Seeing that history is about to repeat itself, the next day May goes to the school office and picks up a transfer document. However, as she walks around the outside area, she sees Pong collecting the Electroshock Girl drawings and then he burns them all in a secluded part of the school. May asks why he did it and Pong replies that he doesn't want to reveal her secret and force her to leave school. What's more, he returns the photo of Fame that fell out of her notebook, and this attitude moves the girl so much that she throws the transfer document into the fire. The two have finally settled their differences. However, Pong has left the fire too high and now a plant stuck in the trellis is on fire. May quickly runs to get the fire extinguisher and, with her electrical powers, she removes the seal and puts out the fire. Even so, the effort has caused the girl's heart rate to accelerate, but she manages to stabilize herself by controlling her breathing. All this impresses Pong and he asks her what else she can do, but she doesn't want to talk about it and leaves for the court. There, she meets Fame, who is training as a goalkeeper in the school soccer team. Suddenly, he saves one of the balls, which ends up right at May's feet, and she has no reaction as she realizes that the young man is getting closer and closer. Fame not only asks for the ball back, but also seems to have taken an interest in the girl and invites her to join the team. However, this makes her so nervous that May runs off to school and Fame chases after her. The chase ends when May finds the exit locked, but Fame tries to calm her down, saying that he just wants his ball back. What's more, he's surprised by the girl's speed and invites her to try out for the relay running team. Meanwhile, Pong finds out that Ming has taken ill during class and goes to the infirmary to offer her a snack. Despite the gesture, the bullies show up shortly afterwards to make fun of the young man and, worst of all, Ming, still annoyed by the drawings, rejects the gift and tells Pong to leave. Sad and ashamed, the young man goes to May's house after school and asks her to shoot lightning at him. The girl refuses, but Pong insists so much that May gets angry and slaps him in the face, followed by a powerful electric discharge. Pong loses consciousness, but soon wakes up trapped in the dental clinic of May's father, who threatens to use the drill against the young man. However, it's all just a joke by the old man, who soon invites Pong to his house for dinner. After the meal, the young man offers to wash the dishes with May and takes the opportunity to ask her for tips on how to win over Ming. May accepts and reveals that she is in love with Fame, so the two agree to help each other with this common goal. Another day passes and the pair begin their plan by leaving a cupcake in Fame's cupboard. As soon as he finds it, May comes over to talk, but just as she's about to give up, Pong pushes her against the cupboard door and runs off. This attracts the attention of Fame, who is happy to see May and once again invites her to the relay race. This time, May accepts and the young man teaches her that, in this sport, one runner passes on an iron pole so that the other can continue the race. The training begins and everything is going well, but when it's May's turn, she feels her energy spreading and gives up passing the baton to Fame. The young man asks her why she did it and May tries to disguise it by saying that she wants to be the last runner to go around instead of her colleague, Kluang. Upon hearing this, Kluang revolts, but to keep up the charade, May challenges her to a race to prove who is the fastest. The runner accepts the challenge and the race begins, with the newcomer proving to be much faster than expected. Kluang despairs that she is about to be defeated, so in a devious act, she bites May's arm. To her misfortune, this causes the girl to produce a strong electrical discharge, pushing Kluang away and ensuring May's victory. In the meantime, Pong has also started his plan to win Ming over. He follows her to the school playground, where she's going to coach the 8th grade class in cheering, only none of them show up. The young girl is disappointed by this, so Pong tries to resolve the situation by calling all the students to practice. However, the 8th grade class is known as one of the smartest, so they'd rather study than waste time with cheerleaders. Because of this, Pong invites May to his house to ask for tips on what to do in this situation. While she's thinking of something, the young man quickly leaves the room to get a snack and May ends up looking through his notebooks, which contain several drawings of Ming. Seeing her going through his things, Pong tries to take the notebooks, but May tells him that he's a great draughtsman and is surprised by his more romantic side. Finally, she advises him to show all the drawings to Ming, as the girl will surely enjoy getting to know Pong's more sensitive side. The young man accepts the advice, but before he can put it into practice, he has to convince the 8th graders to take part in cheerleading practice. To do this, Pong promises that if the students train with Ming, he will do the activities for all the subjects they consider useless. With the agreement in place, Pong starts working every day on art projects, cooking, farming and even cleaning the students' desks. Seeing the young man's dedication, May decides to help him with the activities and more, Pong begins to admire her for her generosity. Another day passes and it's time for the relay race competition, with May being part of Fame's team. However, Pong notices that the 8th graders haven't come to watch, which leaves Ming disappointed. Fortunately, the young men keep their promise and, organized in a line, everyone sits down to cheer on their teams. Finally, the signal is given and the runners begin their race, with May being the one to define the race in the final stretch. Fame's team is in the lead and it's soon his turn to pass the baton to May. However, as she sees the love of her life approaching, the girl starts to get nervous, her heartbeat speeds up and she prefers not to continue the race, for fear of electrocuting Fame. The young man ends up letting go of the baton, but as fate would have it, it hits May's foot and she accidentally kicks it upwards, right into her nose. Despite the painful blow, the girl manages to catch the baton in the air and resumes the race, even though her competitor has the advantage. The finish line is near and it looks like May is going to lose the race, but then Pong appears at the side of the track and motivates her to do her best. The girl is then energized with more motivation and, with just a few meters to go, May manages to get ahead and wins the race. This victory has everyone impressed, including Fame, who runs to congratulate May, but she runs away because of her energized body. Pong sees everything and runs to talk to her friend, who has gone to hide in the changing room. As soon as he finds her, he asks if May is okay and she replies with a smile and a tight hug for winning the competition. This gesture makes Pong very happy and he realizes that his feelings for May are growing stronger. What's more, in her latest drawings, May has taken on the role of protagonist instead of Ming. Even so, the girl is interested in Fame and, while she was looking at the photos of the race on the school wall, the young man appears and asks her out on a date. Afterwards, May calls to tell Pong about the invitation and, although he's not very happy about the news, the young man decides to help her anyway. He then goes to her house and sees the girl training to control her electricity, as she doesn't want to cause an incident on their first date. In addition, the girl is nervous about her appearance, but Pong lets slip that he thinks she's very pretty when she's smiling. Mei wasn't expecting this compliment, but Pong quickly shrugs it off and decides to go home. On the way, he insists on telling himself that he's still in love with Ming, but the harsh reality is that he can't stop thinking about Mei. Finally, it's time to meet, and Fame invites Mei to the field so that the two of them can train together for the relay race. During the warm-up, Mei's watch won't stop ringing because she's so nervous, and the young man asks what it's for. The young woman explains that the watch measures her heart rate, and Fame asks her to test it. Mei begrudgingly gives him the watch, and the young man begins to test it by doing various jumping jacks. However, because of the movement of his arms, the watch is thrown onto the field, just as a school official is passing by and ends up smashing the watch with his trolley. This makes the moment even more awkward, and Fame decides to end the date, but promises to buy Mei a new watch. However, the girl says she wants to continue enjoying the day with him, and so the two of them prepare to go for a run. The first to run is Fame, and, seeing him approach, Mei uses her lipstick made of metal to check if her electrostatic energy is increasing. As she feared, several electrical discharges are emitted from her hand, so she tries to calm herself down by thinking about random things, like mathematical calculations. This strategy works, and when the baton is passed, Mei manages to catch it without electrocuting Fame. Meanwhile, Pong is on the court and, following Mei's advice, he tells one of the 8th graders to give his notebooks to Ming. Despite seeing Pong's name in them, the girl decides to give them a try, and, as Mei had predicted, she likes the stories. After reading them all, she realizes that Pong is on the court, painting one of the decorations, and goes to talk to him. She's impressed by the drawings, but before she can say any more, Pong gets excited and tells everyone that he's in love with her. After seconds of uncomfortable silence, Ming thanks him for the gesture, but she can't reciprocate his feelings because she's not like the Ming in his stories. The girl then returns the notebooks to Pong, who, instead of being saddened by the rejection, realizes that she is right. His crush was nothing more than an idealization of his mind, and this affects him so much that, even when the bullies try to make fun of him, Pong doesn't mind their teasing anymore. The bullies insist, and the young man surprises everyone by calling the gang leader bald. Unfortunately, the guy doesn't let this go unpunished, and, after knocking Pong to the ground, he uses his paintbrush to paint the young man's face yellow. Back at the meeting between Mei and Fame, the harmony between the two grows more and more, until the moment is interrupted by heavy rain. Even so, the young man says he enjoyed spending time with her and is about to declare his feelings to Mei. This makes the girl's emotions run wild, but in doing so, she emits electrical discharges and electrocutes Fame because of the water on the floor. Seconds later, Pong appears in the field to talk to Mei, but when she realizes what she's just done, the girl runs home. Pong runs after her and, when he gets there, realizes that she has accidentally burned out the electrical system in the entire house. Even so, he goes to Mei's room and, seeing that the door is locked, he tries to say words of consolation to his friend. However, Mei says she feels like a freak and that, because of her power, she will never be able to have a relationship with anyone. Finally, she sends a written message under the door, telling Pong to leave. The young man refuses and, instead of leaving, he decides to make a new manga right there, passing the pages on so that Mei can read them. In the story, Fame discovers the whole truth about the girl, but still wants to be with her. However, Mei refuses for fear of hurting him and flees out of the window, running over the power lines. Fame doesn't give up and uses a crane to reach her, but before he can, Mei is struck by lightning and begins to fall straight into the rain-soaked city. Then Fame appears dangling from an electric cable and rescues her, saying that no matter what it takes, the two of them will be together. A day passes and the couple go to school, where Fame puts 2 batteries in the stadium and electrocutes himself to become immune to Mei's shocks. Mei tries to stop him, but a swarm of mosquitoes soon appear and head in their direction. With her electricity, she scares the insects away, only for more of them to appear, so Fame attacks them with his electric racket, which is very similar to the one Pong uses in his room. The couple manage to get rid of the insects, but Mei still refuses to stay with Fame because she thinks he's too handsome for someone like her. The young man proves her wrong by making various faces and, when he sees her smile, he says that she looks very pretty smiling, just as Pong told Mei. The story ends with the two of them together, despite their difficulties, and that's enough for Mei to open the door and find Pong on the other side. She asks where the inspiration for the manga came from, but again, Pong hides his feelings because he doesn't want to interfere with her relationship with Fame. The next morning, Mei is back on the field, until she is called by Ming to help her carry the cheerleading decorations. The two go to a secluded part of the school, and then it's revealed that Ming, along with the group of cuties, has set a trap for Mei. The reason is that she has become so close to fame and none of the cheerleader will allow it. The group of girls then prepares to attack her with a synchronized slap, but just then, Pong appears with a fire extinguisher and shoots at the group. Soon afterwards, he tries to pull Mei away, but ends up being grabbed by the girls, who knock him to the ground. Finally, the cheerleaders prepare their attack Mei, only this time, Fame stops them by firing a warning arrow near them. The girls are embarrassed to see the young man and say that they only did it on Ming's orders. It is then revealed that she has always liked Fame and set Mei up so she wouldn't interfere in her plans to win him over. With everything cleared up, the group of girls, along with Ming, leave, and Pong, even against his will, leaves Mei and Fame alone to talk. Mei then reveals her power of electricity and that it is always activated when Fame is around. She goes on to say that, although she likes him, the two of them can't be together because his power is a risk to everyone. However, Fame replies that they can find a way to solve this and promises that, at the end of the last race, he will ask Mei to marry him. Hours later, Mei finds Pong and tells him everything she and Fame have talked about. The young man can't contain his sadness at Ming's rejection and the fact that his friend is in love with someone else, but he still supports her in her decision and returns home, willing to let her be happy. However, the next morning, while returning to his drawings, Pong writes a special one, dedicated only to Electroshock Girl. He describes her powers, her virtues, and why she is so special. After finishing, the young man seems to have accepted the idea that someone like Mei doesn't deserve an invisible guy like him. However, Pong soon changes his mind and runs towards the field, where the big race will be held. The young man arrives just as the baton is about to be passed to Fame and warns him that, even though he's the most popular student in the school, he won't be with Mei. Finally, it's Fame's turn to take the baton and, seeing that he's being challenged by his rival, he runs towards Mei, with Pong right on his tail. However, Fame has better physical conditioning and quickly gains the advantage over Pong. Even so, the young man shouts at Mei, showing her the story he drew about her and asking her not to win the race, so Fame won't ask her to marry him. Mei hesitates for a second and, in the midst of her mixed feelings, she ends up electrocuting Fame when she receives his baton. Despite this, she decides to cross the finish line, which makes Pong feel defeated. Fame's group was the big winner and soon all the members of the group will receive their medals. Mei will be one of them, but before that, she talks to Fame and says she won't accept his proposal. The young man reveals that he already knew that answer, because when Mei electrocuted him, she didn't do it thinking about Fame, but because she had her eyes on Pong. He goes on to say that she should follow her heart and be with the one she really loves. Finally, the competition comes to an end and all the students and teachers gather to celebrate, holding each other's hands. As usual, Pong is isolated from everyone, but to his surprise, Mei appears in front of him and says she's looking forward to reading his story. The two hold hands and, unexpectedly, Pong asks Mei to be his girlfriend. Once again, the girl can't contain her emotions and electrocutes everyone around her. Pong is happy to finally be dating the girl of his dreams, but he knows that he will have to deal with several shocks, literally, throughout this relationship. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.